Welcome back Twitch, welcome back YouTube. Let's get back to just another game, Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc, where we have finally established that the body was not killed between 10 and 7:30, which means we have an alibi, but unfortunately somebody else still doesn't.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it! I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you!
Yay!
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
Boo! Kyoko's the only one without an alibi. Which would mean that Mukuro's killer is... No, I refuse to believe it. Kyoko murdered someone? That's...
I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me, and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever.
Wow.
Which is why I can't let that happen.
Huh?
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
I feel like I should take a save here. So we're gonna do just that. Probably should have done that before I started the episode, but... There we go.
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything.
That is such an unusual name. I've not seen that in other Japanese literature. I'm really interested in what the etymology of it is.
So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial. Something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
Were any of us?
So, that was her motive?
She was just trying to save us all. We should let her go.
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Oh, did this bitch just throw us under the bus? Oh shit, I'm voting for Kyoko. Big oof.
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
I almost voiced that.
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
This bitch throwing us under the bus. A certain something at the scene was used to cover the body. Of course, it was the tarp. This is a tarp, and we're headed for a tarp. The tarp was hidden among other items in the tool shed. One side was wet and filthy with mud and grime, the other side was completely clean and dry.
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
It's a tarp.
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that.
You're the only one who can understand the fucking dirt pattern.
Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean.
Yeah, we all knew, we knew the tarp had to come up. I think it's funny that Kyoko's throwing us under the bus.
This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place.
Bitch! You whore!
In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
No offense to all the women in the chat, but you whore! I loved you. Why would Kyoko say that? Why would she want to make me look like the killer? No, I can't think about that right now. That tarp. If it was used the way Kyoko said, the tarp must have touched the body, right? But the body...
Wait. Something's not right.
And what might that be?
Bitch! Taste blood. I can't worry about Kyoko's motivations. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to refute what Kyoko said. Make your arguments. Body before the explosion, exploded body analysis, fragments near the dead body.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
Shoot!
I jumped the gun a bit. I jumped
By
the gun a
covering the
lot.
body with the tarp,
Shit.
the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
Alright, now we know when to use it. Bianca even warned us not to touch it to avoid getting any blood on us.
By
Alright, we want
covering
to
the
use it on
body,
the
killer
last
prevents...
statement.
So the reason that is because the spring, but the underside, it was totally.
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
There we go.
No, that's wrong.
I can heal a tiny bit. Break.
Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
Then it'd be wet.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
That too.
Oh, yeah, true.
Aw, rest in peace, Chihiro.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
Huh? The blood was camouflage?
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
This is a very complicated thesis you're forming here, Kyoko.
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
The nurse's office, you daft bitch.
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office.
Holy shit, Hero had the right idea. Everyone look outside, cause the Armageddon's a-coming. Probably the missiles are dropping right fucking now.
That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
Oh. Okay, I get it. They got blood from right there in the garden, right? Which must mean... they killed a chicken!
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
Poor chicken. So
When
there
I
were
checked
two
the chicken
murders.
coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood?
Poor chicken.
Man, that's messed up.
Apparently, Loading Ready Run is a fan of chickens, I see.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around.
No-ish. Well, there's 2 chicken emotes from 2 people in Loading Ready Run.
Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense.
There's Ben and Surge.
You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right?
The whole game is messed up. Pretty much. That's what makes it good.
But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it.
One more chicken emote. Fried chicken. Is it just me, or is like KFC actually kind of gone downhill lately? The one near me seems kind of meh. The skin isn't nearly as good as I remember.
The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in
Shut up,
blood
Nick.
beforehand.
Maybe it's just like their tenders, but their tenders are weird now. You know who's got really good fried chicken and who's not up here at all and it pisses me the hell off? Is Chicken Express. Oh, they got the best fried chicken tenders. It's amazing. But they're mostly in the South and it sucks. They have like the lightest, crispiest breading you'll ever see. It's great.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so.
No, it's fucking backwards.
Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
And it was fucking backwards.
Then that settles it.
Ah, there's the smug waifu.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off. But the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
You bitch! You absolute bitch!
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time.
Maybe, but still.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Oh, Hina, help me!
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Why are waifus betraying us? Why, waifus, why?
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
You smug bitch. You smug bitch!
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
Much like a lot of Makoto's things. And the suspicion falls back on me again. But why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I don't understand. Disguised dead body has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. I think that's the first time we've ever gotten one. A truth bullet mid-trial. I'm gonna go ahead and save again here. Again, I'm doing this for a reason.
Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Shut the hell up.
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Kyoko acting sus. I mean, Kyoko's always acted sus. We don't know anything about fucking Kyoko.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
Oh, god damn it.
It's one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before.
How do all of you not remember what the fucking knife looks like? It's the only knife we've seen in the entire school. Seriously.
That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
Oh my god, you people are so stupid. Listen, more important, now that we have the knife, what are we gonna do with it? Well, we can't let Toko keep it, that's for sure. We don't know what she might do. I don't want it anyway. So what to do? Why don't you hang on to it, Makoto? You bitch! Huh? Me?
It's the knife we gave to Makoto?
I forgot she's the one who suggested that.
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Yeah.
Then why did you hide that fact?
Because, duh?
It's not that I hid it. It's just...
I couldn't be sure of what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her.
Suspicious! Very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
Well, you know, we can make the argument that Hiro's been wrong about almost everything, so we probably didn't do it because he's convinced we did. Considering everything up till now, I should be able to make it clear. I have to prove I didn't murder anyone. I'm not the killer. Unless I've developed a split personality like Toko, in which case I probably am. Because I was hearing voices in my head last night. Make your argument. Disguised dead body, exploded body analysis, fragments near the dead body.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
Oh, Jesus, one heart.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question. You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
We've already established that the coat was put on the body after the tarp was removed. Which means when the knife was thrown through the coat into the body...
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife
I kind of want to go through
before,
this again just to
then
be sure.
That seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question.
Alright, so getting stabbed
You
might be a
took that knife
bullet
of yours and
that
killed
I
her with
want.
it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
Okay, let's fast forward through this again.
The knife we found lodged in...
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it?
If he did have that knife, that seals it.
Just because I had the knife, that automatically...
Well, getting stabbed is what
Stabbed.
killed her. So there's no question. You took that knife of yours and...
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
Okay, I don't think I want a bullet.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was...
If he did have that knife before, that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her.
Okay, good.
No,
That's how you do
it's
it.
wrong.
I can only bring bullets that it
Wait,
loads in the
hold on.
chamber.
The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro.
I can only bring bullets that they load for me in the chamber or ones that I can charge up during the arguments. So I can't bring up the arrows yet. But the arrows are a good point.
That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her.
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right?
At least I got to heal a little bit more.
In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
The victim was stabbed twice in the same spot? No, there's no way that's possible. The exact condition of the body was written down for everyone to see. Obviously, the Monokuma file. Due to the explosion, the victim's identity is unknown. They were, however, dead before the blast. The victim had been stabbed a single time. Once. A single time.
I got it! The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. I totally forgot about that.
Then the knife...
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her.
Freaking throw the blame on me, Kyoko. I'm gonna turn it right around on you.
Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing.
Goodbye, Toko.
The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward.
Oh, I just remember what the duct tape did.
They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kinda goes back to the beginning, but... what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Hey, lay off waifu.
Well, if you're so smart, just tell me.
Gotta go get your boys? Alright, well thanks for stopping by. We'll probably be doing more of this on Friday no matter where we stop off, so if you're interested, swing by again.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic level spontaneous combustion!
I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
It's great how they assume we know. There's only one explanation I can think of for the explosion. That would be... the bomb. Is that in fragments near the body? Yes.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural. Because, of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma.
Also, I like how we're just casually talking about taking apart Monokuma in front of Count Monokuma, and he's not pissed.
It's part of a bomb.
Oh! Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Oh! Oh, shit! There we go. Button you press when I tell you.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. And make another argument. Monokuma file number 5.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
The knife was a cover-up and all those other wounds on her body weren't fresh. Which only leaves, I guess, the hit to the back of
Then
the head.
shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined,
Okay.
correct?
I need to get the hit to the back of the head as a bullet.
Yeah. And it wasn't because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
There we go.
And
All right.
more than that,
The victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
then shall we continue
The debate?
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The
Oh,
explosion didn't
no,
kill her
okay.
for sure.
That wasn't a failure.
Well, yeah.
I hit the
Then
purple noise.
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that,
The
Alright, this
victim
will
had
take a
suffered
couple.
countless wounds across her entire body.
Shut up, Byakuya. You've been proven wrong once already. Which only leaves...
then shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
Crap.
The
I
explosion
didn't want to
didn't kill her
shoot
for sure.
that. I was trying to get rid of
And
the
it wasn't then
stupid Final Fantasy VII.
That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the...
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across
Final
her
Fantasy
entire
VII
body.
has ruined my interact prompts forever.
Then shall we continue
The debate?
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined.
There we go.
No, that's wrong.
Break.
Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon?
The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe.
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
She's not wrong.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
Why would they bother doing that? Also, that would be really hard to get enough force swinging it that way.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power.
See?
I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
Accident, mercy killing, you know.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground and spit on it.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already
Wow.
know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've
flirting.
deduced the real murder weapon?
Just fuck already. The real murder weapon? Well, it'd be the titanium arrows.
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her.
It was the chicken!
And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
I think you guys can figure out what the duct tape was for. And why it was bloody.
Arrow. That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kinda weird.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
I'm not back-talking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
I don't blame Hina for doubting it because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more secret. Make your argument. Bloody duct tape, woodblock key, titanium arrows.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right?
Also, I'm
I
finally
have
getting
no doubt
pretty healthy
that
now.
was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Oh,
back
that's
to Master.
mean.
You
That
have
is
no
mean. Wow. If it was just that titanium arrow, it wouldn't be nearly thick enough. Which is why they used.
The titanium arrow.
It was in the dojo. I have no doubt.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced.
Well, because in the it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal. It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
I hit the wrong button.
You have no right!
Lost 10 seconds.
The titanium
Arrow. It was in the dojo. I have no doubt.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced.
Well, because in the it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
What?
Talking back to Master.
Why can't I? Oh, I was hitting the
You
wrong
have
button.
no right!
I was hitting the trigger button and not the
The
slow down
titanium
button.
arrow.
It was in the dojo. I have no doubt.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced.
Well, because in the it said the weapon must have been about as thick. It seems like an arrow would just
There we
be
go.
No, that's wrong.
Break.
You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably used this duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Are you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to the death of us all, remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
I have evidence? Evidence that Kyoko went to the dojo. Well, I think I'm gonna leave it on a cliffhanger for YouTube. I'm gonna go ahead and call it an episode here. Thanks for coming out and joining us, and tomorrow you'll get to see if we have evidence or not. Twitch, give me a second, and we will do at least one more episode, maybe two.